Okay, so we are live with George Malaka, and he runs a charity in Kenya. And we found each other on Instagram, and he's going to try and tell us a little bit about his mission and what it is that he does with his nonprofit. So, George, you have the floor. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about your nonprofit and what it is that you are trying to do for your community over there in Kenya.
Now, thank you very much, friend. Just like you've said, my name is George Balaka. I'm from Kenya in a place called Raw Village. So Raw Village, just border, I found it the shores of Lake Victoria. So the main economic activity that is done by the people of this area is fishing. Now, there's a very unique scenario that that takes place here. Is that one thing is that most of women are widowed because the mortality rate here is very high. The place is highly infested with affected with HIV cases. So there's a lot of widows here. There are a lot of children who are orphans, and then there's a vulnerability. Now, most of these children found in this locality do not enjoy going to school because one, the few public schools that are here really charge relatively high school fees, so they could not afford to pay. And even because of the economic situation of the people here, they also maybe they do some subsistence farming, so it is not enough to sustain the economic situations that is here. So that is why I came up with this project, the Ely Center Foundation. That one, it runs a charity school. What we do, we offer feeding programs to these kids because they cannot, we realize they are still very young and they cannot study well because of the famine. There's a lack of enough food. So we sometimes mobilize and maybe ensure that we feed them. We also provide them with learning materials like the books. We buy the school uniform for them, the shoes, all sort of the basic needs that maybe they could require through the process of learning. Now, we also realize that most of them come from very because the public schools around are very few. Now, they walk a longer distance. Yes?
I think we're on a little bit of a delay, but yes, no, is this free for your students? Is this like, it's all funded through the nonprofit? This is a charity for the students that you do have, they get these services for free from you guys? Or do they have to pay
majorly,
to go to your school?
Yeah, there are those that are paying very little, but because they are also, majority of them are very much vulnerable and will not sustain paying. So there are those that we ask them to pay some little, but we normally rely on donors, the partners, the well-wishers, and people goodwill who are really trying to sympathize with the situation here. Yeah, because only a few of them will afford to pay small amount of money that we can use to facilitate those teachers who are volunteer to help us. So we need to facilitate them. So that is the most of the funds that we collect, we use to normally to pay. We also use such money that the fee paid to purchase some foodstuffs like the corns, the rice, for feeding. So with that kind of money, it is not really enough. So we are really straining here. That's why we are reaching out to well-wishers, the partners, and the donors who will sympathize with the situation here. Now, in long term, for the long-term sustainability, we were also planning to involve in agriculture, produce some crop production to sustain the food supply. Because we realize that most of the time we cannot collect for the sustainability. So we are also trying to maybe engage in other economic activities that perhaps will help us now boost the food production. So we were appealing for the well-wishers, the partners, the people of goodwill who will come in to bridge the gap and maybe ensure that we provide quality education to these deserving children. Now,
So I have a couple
we also
questions.
realize, yes,
Well, I forget what I was going to say. How many students do you have right now? How many people do you have involved in the organization,
yeah.
like students or?
Currently we have 130 pupils, right?
Okay.
Yes, yeah, but we were planning because we continue to receive a number of cases of children who still will want to be wish to be helped. So the number is increasingly growing, but now the capacity in terms of finance is very low because we were targeting up to 400 pupils, maybe as we continue to mobilize for resources. So once the resources are there, we can stretch that number. But for now, we only have 130 pupils. We have 4 teachers who are helping them. They are trained. They are registered by the Teacher Service Commission, but they have not been absorbed by the government through permanent and pensionable terms. So most of them, we use them to educate. We could not able to pay the required amount. So they have been, we are really grateful for them. They have sympathized with their children, and we pray that maybe if we got long-term solutions, we'll be able to remunerate or pay them a substantial amount of money to sustain themselves and their family, because they also need to take care of their families, feed their families, pay their bills, and so on and so forth. So
Do
we
you
are
guys like
kindly
give these
appealing for
people
more.
a degree that they can use at the end to get a job in Kenya, or how does this
Yes,
work?
yes. We run with the Kenyan's curriculum. So
Okay, so
anything that
it's
we
all
teach,
endorsed by the state or the country.
yes. It is something that is endorsed by the government, and we sit for one national exam with the rest of other pupils in the country. We only sit for exam. It is a provision. So only that we run it as a private sector. So the government only come in regulations in terms of
Yeah, you just
curriculum
have to meet the
and
curriculum, and then as long as you've met the
ye-
curriculum and you abide
yes,
by all
yes,
the
yes,
laws and
yes,
stuff, then you're good. Yeah, no, that's a lot like a
yeah.
private school here in America. But my other question is this only for small children, or like, do you have young men in their 20s and stuff that haven't had an education yet that come to learn from you guys as well? Is it only for
Now,
younger people, or do young men sometimes come learn there, or young men and women come there as well?
yeah, no, yeah, we were trying to make it now a fully functional school, like from for the primary, then we have the secondary and so forth. But for now, we just began with the primary section. So
So
we
that's
hope to
kids
make.
from what age group? How what
So
kind of ages is that?
yeah, currently we have from age 5 years old to 12 years old. So the maximum age we have here is 12 old. But because
Okay,
we from primary they will transit to secondary. But for secondary there are massive requirements that the school need to meet, because first the government will require us to have permanent buildings, structures, classrooms, right? But
right.
as you can see, we only have some semi permanent classroom. So the classroom that we have currently are not to the standard that the government of Kenya will approve to have secondary. But will we mobilize and have permanent classrooms with us? Then we will be able to. They will approve. Then we'll be able now to provide learning areas to higher levels like secondary and even tertiary levels.